Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Very glad you're here. Good to see you. Thank you very much for tuning in. Welcome to this comfy, quiet, cozy little corner of the internet where we do a little drinking and a little thinking. So come join me if you will. I'd be very honored if you would. And hopefully, we'll learn something today that we didn't know yesterday. Bring what you got, of course, whatever it may be. I won't judge. The important thing is that you're having a good time. But tonight, I'm doing something a little different. I'm going to drink a little barley tea, which I recently discovered. Um, Pretty good, pretty relaxing. Good way to calm into the weekend. So you can find it in your local Asian section of your supermarket. But yeah, mix it up. Why not? Anyway, that being said, cheers to you. And Jesus too. Mm. It's kind of like Cheerios. And I know that probably doesn't sound very good, Cheerio tea, but I promise you, it tastes pretty good, especially with a little honey. Mm. Well, I'd like to continue doing the series that I was doing. We're going to do chapter 3 tonight from the book War Is A Racket by U.S. Brigadier General, Smedley D. Butler. And pretty good book. As I said in my other videos, guy was a very well decorated war hero, and he'd been all over the globe, and he kind of saw a lot of things, did things, and figured out quickly what was up. So he wrote about it, and we will be continuing on with chapter 3 tonight, which is titled Who Pays the Bills? And yeah, we'll just dive right into it. Chapter 3, Who Pays the Bills? It reads a little something like this. Chapter 3, Who Pays the Bills? Who provides the profits? These nice little profits of 20, 100, 300, 1500, and 1800%? We all pay them, in taxation. We paid the bankers their profits when we bought Liberty bonds at $100 and sold them back at 84 or 86 to the bankers. These bankers collected $100 plus. It was a simple manipulation. The bankers control the security marts. It was easy for them to depress the price of these bonds. Then all of us, the people, got frightened and sold the bonds at 84 or 86. The bankers bought them. Then these same bankers stimulated a boom and government bonds went to par and above. Then the bankers collected their profits. But the soldier pays the biggest part of the bill. If you don't believe this, visit the American cemeteries on the battlefields abroad, or visit any of the veterans' hospitals in the United States. On a tour of the country, in the midst of which I am at the time of this writing, I have visited 18 government hospitals for veterans. In them are a total of about 50,000 destroyed men who were the pick of the nation 18 years ago. The very able chief surgeon at the government hospital at Milwaukee, where there are 3,800 of the living dead, told me that mortality among veterans is 3 times as great as among those who stayed home. Boys with a normal viewpoint were taken out of the fields and offices and factories and classrooms and put into the ranks. There they were remolded. They were made over. They were made to, quote, about face, to regard murder as the order of the day. They were put shoulder to shoulder and, through mass psychology, they were entirely changed. We used them for a couple of years and trained them to think nothing at all of killing or of being killed. Then, suddenly, we discharged them and told them to make another, quote, about face. This time, they had to do their own readjustment, sans, without, mass psychology, sans officers' aid and advice, and sans nationwide propaganda. We didn't need them anymore, so we scattered them about without any, quote, 3-minute or Liberty Loan speeches or parades. Many, too many of these fine young boys are eventually destroyed, mentally, because they could not make that final, quote, about face alone. In the government hospital in Marion, Indiana, 1,800 of these boys are in pens, 500 of them in a barracks with steel bars and wires all around outside the buildings and on the porches. These already have been mentally destroyed. These boys don't even look like human beings. Oh, the looks on their faces. Physically, they are in good shape. Mentally, they are gone. There are thousands and thousands of these cases. More and more are coming in all the time. The tremendous excitement of the war, the sudden cutting off of that excitement, the young boys couldn't stand it. That's a part of the bill. So much for the dead. They have paid their part of the war profits. So much for the mentally and physically wounded. They are paying now their share of the war profits. But the others paid too. They paid with heartbreaks when they tore themselves away from their firesides and their families to don the uniform of Uncle Sam, on which a profit had been made. They paid another part in the training camps, where they were regimented and drilled while others took their jobs and their places in the lives of their communities. They paid for it in the trenches, where they were shot, where they were hungry for days at a time, where they slept in the mud and the cold and in the rain, with the moans and shrieks of the dying for a horrible lullaby. But don't forget, the soldier paid part of the dollars and cents bill too. Up to and including the Spanish-American War, we had a prize system, and soldiers and sailors fought for money. During the Civil War, they were paid bonuses, in many instances, before they went into service. The government, or states, paid as high as $1,200 for an enlistment. In the Spanish-American War, they gave prize money. When we captured any vessels, the soldiers all got their share. At least, they were supposed to. Then it was found that we could reduce the cost of wars by taking all the prize money and keeping it, but conscripting, drafting, the soldier anyway. Then soldiers couldn't bargain for their labor. Everyone else could bargain, but the soldier couldn't. Napoleon once said, "All men are enamored of decorations. They positively hunger for them." So, by developing the Napoleonic system, the medal business, the government learned it could get soldiers for less money, because the boys liked to be decorated. Until the Civil War, there were no medals. Then, the Congressional Medal of Honor was handed out. It made enlistments easier. After the Civil War, no new medals were issued until the Spanish-American War. In the World War, we used propaganda to make the boys accept conscription. They were made to feel ashamed if they didn't join the army. So vicious was this war propaganda that even God was brought into it. With few exceptions, our clergymen joined in the clamor to kill, kill, kill. To kill the Germans. God is on our side. It is His will that the Germans be killed. And in Germany, the good pastors called upon the Germans to kill the Allies, to please the same God. That was a part of the general propaganda, built up to make people war conscious and murder conscious. Bountiful ideas were painted for our boys who were sent out to die. This was the, quote, war to end all wars. This was the, quote, war to make the world safe for democracy. No one mentioned to them as they marched away that their going and their dying would mean huge war profits. No one told these American soldiers that they might be shot down by bullets made by their own brothers here. No one told them that the ships on which they were going to cross might be torpedoed by submarines built with United States patents. They were just told it was going to be a, quote, glorious adventure. Thus, having stuffed patriotism down their throats, it was decided to make them help pay for the war too. So we gave them the large salary of $30 a month. All they had to do for this munificent sum was to leave their dear ones behind, give up their jobs, lie in swampy trenches, eat canned willy when they could get it, and kill and kill and kill and be killed. But wait, half of that wage, just a little more than a riveter in a shipyard or a laborer in a munitions factory safe at home made in a day, was promptly taken from him to support his dependents, so that they would not become a charge upon his community. Then we made him pay what amounted to accident insurance, something the employer pays for in an enlightened state, and that cost him $6 a month. He had less than $9 a month left. Then, the most crowning insolence of all, he was virtually blackjacked into paying for his own ammunition, clothing, and food by being made to buy Liberty bonds. Most soldiers got no money at all on paydays. We made them buy Liberty bonds at $100, and then we bought them back. When they came back from the war and couldn't find work, at $84 and $86, and the soldiers bought about $2 billion worth of these bonds. Yes, the soldier pays the greater part of the bill. His family pays too. They pay it in the same heartbreak that he does. As he suffers, they suffer. At nights, as he lay in the trenches and watched shrapnel burst about him, they lay home in their beds and tossed sleeplessly. His father, his mother, his wife, his sisters, his brothers, his sons, and his daughters. When he returned home, minus an eye, or minus a leg, or with his mind broken, they suffered too, as much as, and even sometimes more than he. Yes, and they too contributed their dollars to the profits of the munitions makers, and bankers, and shipbuilders, and the manufacturers, and the speculators made. They, too, bought Liberty bonds and contributed to the profit of the bankers after the armistice in the hocus-pocus of manipulated Liberty bond prices. And there you have it. Broken people, bodies broken, minds broken. War has a tremendous cost. Horrible cost, and I don't think people realize that. I mean, certainly the politicians don't, right? They're very insulated from their actions. They live in their big multi-million-dollar mansions in whatever suburb of Washington, D.C. They don't care. The military contractors, they're too busy counting their bills. They don't care. But I care. That's why I bring it up. And I hope you care too. This is very serious. I mean, these young men and women, they shouldn't be running around the globe doing who knows what in some godforsaken jungle or desert or whatever. For what? Because these politicians lie to us? Come on, we can do better than this. We can do better. These young people should be at home with their families, building homes, starting careers, inventing things, writing things, making things, you know? That's where they should be. Not out blowing things up. It's horrible. And it's really quite hard to put into words how horrible. And there's a lot of war footage online now, and you can go look at it. I can't really do it. It's too hard, but I mean, being in the military, I think I mentioned this before, but I've talked to some of these guys and girls, but it wrecks them, it messes them up pretty bad. Crying at night and stuff, And I just think to myself, we can do better than this. I believe that with all my heart. We can do better than this. They deserve better than this. Anyway, something I want to bring up real quick. I bring this up in a lot of episodes, but I don't know, I just feel it's important is the economic side of things. Kind of an armchair economist, if you will, but war has a human cost, broken minds and broken bodies, but it has a significant financial cost. That's money out of your pocket. I mean, these politicians spend a lot of money to engage in these wars and spend on a lot of other things. But, you got to pay the piper someday. That's money out of your pocket. It's money out of my pocket. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Somebody's got to pay for all these bombs, right? These banks, these military contractors, they're making a killing. Well, that money comes from somewhere. It's from your pocket. So why? Why do this? Why do we let our politicians lie to us, send us to war, when it costs us money? I mean, it's like a double whammy. They lie to us, and they take our money. I mean, or they do that anyway, but that's all they do. But why do we let them, I guess, is what I'm getting at. You know, it's just, to me, it's odd because a lot of people, they get really angry when when you stick your hand inside their wallet. People get very offended, and rightfully so. You're going to stick your hand in my wallet, I'm going to get mad at you. But why you let Washington, D.C. do it to you? It's strange to me. I don't know. I don't understand why you let these politicians reach inside your pocket, take money from you, and give it to their contractor buddies, or themselves, let's be honest. Why do you let them do that to you? And another thing, it's not just the direct money that you got to think about. It's the quality of life. I mean, candy bars, right? When I was a kid, a candy bar was 50 cents. Now they're like, what, $2? And if that isn't bad enough, I mean, paying more for the same amount of goods is bad enough. But once again, we're hit with a double whammy. They're smaller now. They're smaller. So I'm not only paying more, but I'm paying for less. See, I'm paying more money for less stuff. It's the same with houses. I mean, look at the cost of a house. It's the same size house, but it's hundreds of thousands of dollars more than what it should be. That's your quality of life going down because the government is spending outrageous amounts of money, because the Federal Reserve, a private bank, is printing outrageous amounts of money. Wall Street's doing their funny business. It's all this shenanigans that they're doing, and the end result is to screw you, the little guy, me. Right? In an honest society with honest money, a capitalist society, we didn't have all this shenanigans going on. Prices would be coming down. Quality would be going up. Sizes would be going up. And the results speak for themselves. I mean, before the Federal Reserve showed up, and even, early when the Federal Reserve wasn't as bad as it is now, I'm talking, early 1900s, people ate pretty well. 1950s, 1960s. And then you look at what happened. Everything got financialized. Government started getting into outrageous amounts of debt. Portion sizes get smaller. Costs go up. I mean, just look at your own life. I mean, can you remember? My candy bar example, I remember a lot of things that used to cost a lot less. Now they cost a lot more. The results speak for themselves, don't they? I mean, Washington, Wall Street, Federal Reserve, they're doing this to us through wars and spending on other things, So, I don't know. I hope I'm not the only one that notices that. But, as I said, we can do better. We can do better for our soldiers, people that volunteered to try and make a difference and defend this country. They deserve better than this. And so do you. So do we. We all deserve better than this. We can have a prosperous nation. We can have honest money. We can have the big portions of meat and candy bars that are affordable price again. But we have to stop. We have to put a stop to it. We have to put our foot down. You can't just sit and yell at your TV all day. That's not how this works. You got to write your politicians. You got to call your politicians, email them, get together in groups, volunteer. Let these people know that we're watching them. And make it happen. I mean, not only watch them, fight. Do everything you can to make things better, to make things right. I mean, even something as simple as a YouTube show, right? You don't have to be a road warrior or quit your job or do anything crazy, right? All you got to do is speak the truth. It's a start, right? It's something, which is better than nothing. So, just want to give you some encouragement. I really believe that we can do better. And I also believe if we sit on our couches and yell at our TVs, nothing's going to happen. So, just wanted to give you some encouragement. Do it for yourself, your wallet, your cost of living. Your life could be so much better if this stuff wasn't happening. But Also, like I said, think of the men and women who are suffering because of the lies these politicians tell us and then the money that they waste. It's terrible. Yeah, we can do better. So, anyway, I will dismount the soapbox now, leave it there. That was chapter 3. Hope you got something out of that. And I hope you all have a great weekend. Hope you all have a great week. Great start to the year. Yeah. I think that about covers it. So, leave me any comments below. Let me know what you think. Any thoughts, ideas, whatever. And yeah. I hope you'll tune in again. If you're struggling, keep you in my thoughts and prayers. And if things are going well for you, it's good on you. I'm glad. But I hope you'll help someone out that's in need. Really do. We're in this together, and if we'd help each other out, I think we'd all be better off. So, anyway, yeah. I think that about covers it. So, that being said, take care, everyone. Good night.